Yay!
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
How are y'all doing on this lovely Wednesday morning?
Wednesday. I am literally shocked that we remembered that we had a live show. No
I
amount of
didn't.
panic happened today.
I
None.
woke up this morning, I was like, I feel like there's something I have to do today.
I'm so glad that you are an early morning person because when I texted you last night at 1:30 in the morning being like, "Hey, don't forget live show." I was like, "She won't oversleep. That's a me thing." But
Don't worry,
I
guys.
remembered.
We're both here.
Yay, we made it. And y'all made it.
Yay.
I hope everyone's having a lovely Wednesday morning. It feels so weird. I'm kind of sad because usually on Saturdays I have work, but then that's the last day before my weekend. But it's no, my work week is just starting. So it's yeah.
I'm
It's
so
okay. We
sorry.
got Christmas up and coming.
Yes, less than a week.
So exciting.
Very soon.
So exciting. And I don't have to work Christmas Eve at my new job, which is shocking because the past 3 years I've had to work Christmas Eve. So I'm very, very excited.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. We're gonna see my family, me and my family. We're gonna see the new Avatar movie. I'm very
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I've never seen a single Avatar movie.
Well, there's only one other one, so.
Well, I've never seen the one. I thought there were
Not
two other Avatar movies.
no. No, not Avatar like The Last Airbender, like Avatar
No,
with
I
the blue
know,
people.
but I thought there were two others.
Nope, there's just one.
Hmm.
They're planning 5.
You learn something new every day.
It was supposed to come out in 2020, but then they pushed it back. I don't know. It's been a whole ordeal.
Wow. I feel like I've learned something today about film.
The Avatar universe.
Yeah. I know there's blue people, but that's all I knew. But now I have 2 facts about it.
Blue people, and there's only one other movie.
Yeah.
Now 2. Oh, Katie, what is that behind you?
Oh.
What is that?
Oh my god. Did you send me Norman? No, wait.
What?
He's behind you right now.
What?
Guys, Cass got me my own little dragon for Christmas. I love it.
And we will work on naming.
If anybody has any suggestions, it's up to you guys to name this dragon.
I was still kind of a fan of insert name here.
Maybe not. I think it was a bit shorter.
We will give it another 2 minutes and then we'll start discussing the book. So that those of you that are still reading it, you better hurry. You got 2 minutes. Oh my goodness. I can't get over that it's a Wednesday. It's just weird.
I know. But since I'm on winter break, every day feels like a weekend, so I'm kind of just okay.
I guess that's cool for you. Good crap.
Hey, I put in my time.
Yeah, that's true. I might be taking classes next year. Yeah, next year.
Then you can put in some time.
And then I can put in some time. Oh my goodness.
I like the name Silas. That's kind of fun.
Ooh, I like that too.
We'll keep in mind. There's other good names too, but that one jumped out at me. Salami.
Oh my goodness. Give it one more minute and then we will start discussing the book. I'm really excited. This is probably my favorite book that we've read so far. I think it's been my favorite book we've read so far in the book club.
Definitely one of my favorites. I think Strange the Dreamer has
Strange the Dreamer for you, yeah.
But this one might be number 2 because I'm not going to count Kingdom of the Wicked because we already read it.
Yeah. That was my thought exactly. And I think I almost enjoyed this one more than Kingdom of the Wicked.
Yeah. I think there's more to it for sure.
Alrighty. Everyone, drop your star ratings in the chat.
Let us know
what you rated Daughter of the Moon Goddess. What did you rate it?
I think a 4-star is what I'm giving it.
Okay. I gave it a 4.5.
Nice.
Yeah. I was thinking about 5 stars, but then I kind of like sat and thought a little bit harder. And I was like, there were just a few things that annoyed me too much to give it 5 stars. But I would 100% reread it, and I'm definitely reading the second book.
I already picked up the second one.
Did you buy it, or did you pick it up from the library?
I bought it. I was like, it's at half price, so it's mine now.
Okay, half price is justifiable. That works.
I mean, these are expensive books. They're like $28 because they're technically adult fantasy. And I'm like, $28 for a book.
I'm shocked you found it at half price. I mean, I have to look. I think I do what?
The second one I found at half price. This one I bought originally from Barnes & Noble, and it's expensive.
Yeah, I have the second one in my Amazon cart. I just have yet to hit the purchase button. I'm debating. I'm like, okay, do I want, because I have like a finite amount of like room on my reading journal spreads for books bought, and my rule is like, that's my budget right there. That's how many books I can buy. So I'm like, do I do it in December and fill up the December page, or do I wait until 2023 and start filling out that one? So, or do I pick it up from the library and save money? Who knows at this point?
The cover of that one's so pretty, though. I feel
they both are so pretty.
Yeah. They deserve a spot on the shelf.
They do. I've picked up a lot of like really pretty covered books that I just can't wait until I move to like reorganize my bookshelf, because I don't have it in me to reorganize the bookshelf when I'm only going to be here for another 4 months. Yeah. Wow. End of April. So my lease is up.
That's crazy.
I'm so excited.
I feel like we moved in so shortly ago. It's not words, you know what I mean.
My lease started end of April, but like I moved in beginning of May.
Yeah.
But it's still like time has flown. Luckily, this apartment is shit. Oh my goodness.
Oh, someone has the Fairy Loot version. The Fairy Loot version of this book is so
That's gotta be stunning.
Yeah.
I've turned around to, the sprayed edges. Yeah, sprayed edges on this book must be, just the cover design in general is just, and even like the art on like the part 1 and part 2s, so pretty.
Love it. I was so excited. I was vlogging it because I was like, oh my gosh,
look at
so pretty. Love it.
All right, we've got some 3 stars, 4.25, 4.5, 4.5. So pretty solid 4 stars.
Yeah.
A few 2 stars, a few 3 stars. But for the most part, I'm seeing a lot of high rankings, which is very lovely because last month was rough. So I feel like we redeemed ourselves.
I think so too.
Oh, shite, that was my phone. throwing crap on the floor. Do we want to start with like the positives or the negatives, or like what are we feeling?
Maybe we should start with things that we didn't like about it, and then we'll get into the things.
And on a good note. Yes. Okay. I'll let you.
One thing that I personally really noticed about this book is that there was a lot of telling and not showing. There were a lot of things going on that I was like, personally, I would like to see a bit more of what it took to get to this point. Because like with Li Wei and Xinyan's relationship, there was like a 2-year gap. And then it was like, oh my God, I love you. But I'm like, what about like some moments in between where we were and where we got to? So,
yep. I had that problem too with like her training.
That too.
And like magically being like the best archer in the First Army. I'm like, or the Imperial Army.
Yeah.
I'm like, how? Like we didn't get to see that.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 months and she was already beating Li Wei.
Yeah.
That didn't really make sense to me.
Like, I was like, maybe it's because her father was an archer and like it's genetic in this like scenario, but I just feel like more training would have made it more believable and more satisfying to a reader.
That, or even like scenes of her up on the moon, like at least having touched a bow and arrow before. Like there was absolutely no training her whole life leading up to this point, and just like to see her suddenly become the best. And it's like it's like a mindset too of like, going into war and like training to battle, because she was like very peaceful and just chilling on the moon.
Yeah.
And then to suddenly be the best archer in both like skill and like the ability to go up against, what was it, like a Hydra or something,
Yeah.
and like face that amount of danger when she's never been in even like a small skirmish before, and then to be like, I'm gonna fight this Hydra.
I was like, okay, but like how?
How are you? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the pacing was weird, and I think it's probably a debut author situation where maybe she didn't think she would get a chance to have like a sequel, and so I feel like this probably, I haven't read the second book, but I feel like it would have been good for a trilogy.
Yeah.
That way we got more scenes of like the weird time gaps. But the time gaps never were like, I don't think I mind time jumps when it's like a new part or like a new chapter where it's like 2 years later.
Yeah.
But it was just so casually said in like a sentence where if you like miss that sentence, you missed that like 2 or 3 years had passed.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to the audiobook and I was like, a year, 2 years? And I like rewound it and I was like, yeah, they just skipped a whole 2 years. Okay.
I feel like it's definitely like interesting to think about how maybe she didn't think she was gonna be able to write a second book, because I feel like this book does wrap up like rather like well.
Yeah, I was surprised there's a second book. I didn't think
standalone.
really. The only thing that was like cliffhangery was the romance between her and Liwei.
Yeah, but I feel like that could have been like just left as it was
for interpretation.
You could have, interpret it how you wanted to.
For sure.
How did you feel about the love triangle? There's a lot of people talking about the love triangle.
There's like 2 different love triangles that occurred between like Xingying, Liwei, and the one chick that he was betrothed to.
Oh yeah.
And then what was it? Wenji, Xingyin, and Liwei. I'm like, why? It didn't really like piss me off. It like stressed me out.
Yeah.
Because you want to root for Liwei, because I really liked Liwei's character in the beginning, and then I think his character kind of started pissing me off a little bit more towards the end, especially when he forced Xingyin to come and like rescue his betrothed. I'm like, sir, do you not see how that is so unfair?
Yeah.
And, like, disrespectful? But you know, Wenji in the beginning, you're rooting for until you know what is revealed about him.
Yeah.
It stressed me out, and I wasn't sure how they were going to resolve it. I did like how it was resolved with like Wenji being like a villain.
Yeah.
But it was just stressing me out. I didn't really mind it because it didn't feel like a proper like love triangle per se. Like, yes, it was a triangle, but I feel like the plot kind of was overshadowing more so than the love triangle.
I knew that whatever the person that Liwei was betrothed to, she didn't stand a chance. Like, I knew it wasn't happening.
I thought she was gonna die.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that's how they were gonna resolve things.
But like in the beginning, I was kind of like, oh, the love triangle. I was kind of into it. But then like as it progressed, Liwei started to annoy me. And then Wenji, I was just kind of like, he's there, I guess. So, but like in the beginning, I was there for it, but not so much later.
Yeah, I think the progression of like the love between the two characters was confusing because there was like no chemistry really. It was kind of just like forced time spent together. The only chemistry we got was at the beginning with Liwei and Xingyin like studying and training together and like their kind of younger love. But then it was like a 2-year gap. And then with Wenji, it was like, okay, where is like the line when it comes to like military rankings and like what is like proper?
Yeah.
Because like you can use that relationship to her advantage theoretically. Yeah. Yeah.
Although I did really like her and Liwei's relationship. I thought it was really cute. I was like, okay, friends to lovers that I don't mind. Like in the beginning.
In the beginning. Yeah, I just the characters near the end really like they were all just making me mad. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Maybe the skips are this big because they're immortal, and for them it seems like just a couple of days. For us, that is a good point, but we are mortal. And so reading, I don't know, it's a novel, so you want to see that development. You don't want to just have to assume and like fill in the gaps yourself. I feel like, especially with romance, because then it kind of feels like These Violent Delights.
Yeah.
Like the love between Roma and Juliet was like 5 years before the book even started. And so you're just told about how they love each other versus like shown how they do love each other.
Yeah. Like, I feel like there were definitely like some moments in the beginning between her and Li Wei, but I think they needed more to really like bridge the gap from like really good friends to like actually being in love with each other.
Yeah. I just hated how many times the word crimson was mentioned. That I didn't really notice the amount of times crimson was mentioned, but sliver of hope got me. Every time I heard the sentence sliver of hope, I was like, please, something else than a sliver of hope.
I don't think I really noticed either of those, like, personally.
Like 3 or 4 times. And it was always when the chapter was like ending, I swear.
Yeah. I feel like the characters were completely changed at the end. Like, the characters were going solid, and then there's just a flip at the end. I was so confused. I feel like they were definitely a lot different at the end of the book, which, like, normally, like, obviously that could be chalked up to just, like, character development, but I feel like...
It's like character undevelopment.
Character disintegration.
Yes. I mean, the actions that they made like make sense because like Li Wei's mother and father are questionable, and so
trash.
I'm sure. Like, how did he turn out like semi-normal? Like,
yeah, like what's that about?
How with the way he was raised? I don't know. It didn't add up. For how much we're complaining, like I did really like this book.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I loved the writing too. Like I loved Sue Lynn Tan's like description of things. I thought that was like really well done. It was very pretty when she was like describing all like the different elements of people's like outfits and like what they look like. And I'm like, wow, I wish I could picture things in my head. I feel like this would be so cool to imagine.
I liked that it was like really nice to read, like very pretty, very lyrical, but it wasn't like overly so, and it was still like easy to like read. I feel like sometimes authors do get like wrapped up in making things sound nice, but I feel like she has a good balance.
It wasn't like too wordy.
Yeah.
Like it was lyrical but not wordy.
It still like flowed really nicely.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, I also want to know what Minister Wu's deal was. I feel like he was just like such an asshole. But like for what reason?
A lot of the side characters weren't developed that much. We just kind of got like they're an asshole or like they're like her friendship with that one chick in the army. I don't even remember her name.
I don't remember her name either.
I have 3 character names in my head and that's it. I will say though, the audiobook I feel like really heightened my enjoyment of this because the narrator was so good.
I know. I listened to the audiobook too. Her voice was so nice.
Her voice acting was I'm like, narrate all my books, please.
I was like, I need to like I hope she narrates the second one too because I need to.
Oh, absolutely. When we buy the book but then listen to the audiobook.
Okay, but like I always do that. Audiobooks are just nice, you know?
No, I get it. I was like journaling and doing other things while I was listening to the audiobook. It was so great. So I feel like that helps. When you have a good narrator, I feel like it really heightens the enjoyment of a book. For example, Shadow and Bone. The narrator is like really good. I really like the narrator in the Shadow and Bone trilogy, but like that trilogy is mid at best. But when I first read it, I was like, this is kind of good.
Yeah.
And then when I read it physically, I was like, where's the sauce?
Where's the
spice?
I also really love the mythological background and everything concerning the dragons, Maureen. That like was my favorite part. It was so
yes.
Like I just loved it. Also, I'm just so glad that one of our books finally had a dragon in it, or like obviously it's not a wyvern, but we haven't read any books with any sort of dragon type creatures in it. But finally we made it.
Absolutely. I can't think of like many books that I've read that have dragons like off the top of my head, other than like Aragon and Priory, but I haven't read Priory.
I was just about to say Priory.
Like, I don't know. I feel like dragons are an interesting.
Has wyverns in it.
Do what?
Throne of Glass.
I guess that's true. I take it back. I have read a couple.
Yeah.
I was straight up convinced Minister Wu was going to be a demon realm spy. He was so evil. Yeah. He was definitely sus, but like the Celestial Emperor was and Empress were just both sus. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if they ended up being traitors. But I didn't really see any foreshadowing with Wenji. Like there was a paragraph where Xingyin was like connecting all the dots of his actions. And I was like, yeah, but I feel like as a reader you could have never really connected those dots.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy books where the plot never goes where I expect because it keeps me on my toes. And this book never went in a direction that I expected.
Yeah.
Because when she started on the moon, I thought it was going to be like a one chapter introduction and then skip to present day. But it just kept going. I was like, whoa. Fantasy books that aren't just like giving you context about a backstory, just like having you jump right into the story and it kept going.
I love that. I was like, okay, let's get into it. I think it really, like most books, it takes me a minute to get into, but this one I was like, okay, let's
straight
go.
Away.
I'm ready.
Yeah, action like straight away.
Yeah.
It was like, here's her mom, here's this, here's the situation. All right, now we are in like dire danger. You're gonna die. You're gonna go right on a cloud. Which I literally could not. I had two things in my head. I don't know if anyone would get these references. The first one was like this like cloud spirit from Legend of Zelda. That's what I thought of. And then you know the dude on Mario Kart who like holds the sign when you're going the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
He's, like bouncing on his cloud. That's what I just pictured. People just zooming around on the cloud. With like the turnaround sign.
I love the cloud travel though. I thought it was really fun.
That was an interesting method, yeah. I really liked the scene with the mer people or like the water. I can't even remember that whole. I don't remember the character's name or what they're called, but the water people with like the giant squid situation.
Oh yeah, I think
like the enchanted amulet.
Yeah, I think I was doing something while I was listening to that, so I don't think I was fully in that chapter.
But I really liked the amulet and like the explanation, and I love the magic in this book. It wasn't too overly where like the characters were super overpowered with like the special items that they had or like the magic that they wielded. I feel like it was a good balance, and I liked how the magic system worked. It was very interesting.
Yeah, I feel like it was also just like really easy to understand.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Especially for, as you said, it's an adult fantasy.
Yeah.
I feel like some fantasy books just try so hard. And very confusing.
The only thing is, like with this book, I like if you had not told me that that was adult fantasy, I never would have guessed that it wasn't YA. You know, I feel like it really read like YA, which isn't a bad thing. It's just an observation.
It did really read like a YA. Because there was nothing really that made it an adult fantasy. Because the magic system was not watered down, because I just said it was nice.
Yeah, it was just like simple.
Yeah. It was simple, but it was enjoyable. Yeah. I really liked the lack of spice, though. It was really refreshing to read like a cute kind of romance book.
Because I feel like really weird.
Yes, it would have been very out of place. But some authors do that, where you're just like reading a cute little thing, and then suddenly they're like fucking on the table, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa.
When did that happen?
How did we get here? How did we get here?
I also loved how Xingyin was never the damsel in distress. Really showed that she was like, you know, strong. She was a strong warrior.
Strong, independent badass. Yeah. And I really liked, I mean, this was reiterated a little bit too much in my opinion. I think Sue Lynn Tan did have like the habit of like repeating certain phrases over and over again, which I feel like is a debut author thing where you like get a really good sentence. You're like, ooh, I gotta put that everywhere. Copy paste that shit. When she was like gaining things, but she was like on my own merit. Like, it wasn't because I was friends with Li Wei. It wasn't because I'm the daughter of the moon goddess. It's because of my own skill and my own talent that I ended up here.
Yeah.
But then, like, also her relationship with Wenji kind of, like, blurred that line. But for the most part, I feel like she did all the things she earned herself. Like, the little dragon talisman situation, which that's one plot point I did see coming. And I was like, yeah, wow, shocker. You got the talisman that you've been talking about this whole time that you've been trying to get?
Like you can just like that's the kind of thing in fantasy. Like if somebody's looking for something or they're trying to get something, they're gonna find it or they're gonna get it. I've accepted that.
Yeah. And It happened on like the mission you would expect to. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you saved the Emperor's son. Like,
Yeah.
have my gratitude, have the talisman. That does make sense. I did really like that last fight scene though, where he was like under this enchantment situation.
Yeah.
I love a good like lovers fighting, but not.
But they don't want to.
But they don't want to.
Yeah.
I won't
was like,
hurt
no
you, and then
way.
proceeds to like.
It's juicy.
Yeah. Merfolk, thank you. And Governor. Why can I not see today? Renu? Renu?
I wish I
Renu?
could remember this scene.
It was a big scene. It was with like the little child. I don't even remember the child's name either. Yeah.
Okay.
That scene was wholesome when they were bonding.
I know, it was so like, cute.
But I just started learning how to sword fight and I beat you every time. And Shingyun's like, yeah, about that.
Like, oh my god, you're so good.
Oh my goodness. That was a really cute scene. I just don't understand how the characters that are like sons and daughters of these like questionable political figures
like
turn out like so cute and pure and like nice.
People. Honestly, like going into this, I had heard somewhere that like one of the love interest was like not good. So like that, I knew it was coming, unfortunately. I didn't know which one though. And I thought it was going to be Li Wei. Like I was very convinced that it was going to be him because it was like he's too good of a person to like actually be a good person.
Right.
So I was really shocked, honestly, when it was Wenji.
But again, I don't think there's any foreshadowing to allow the reader to try to figure that out. Did anyone figure that out? Maybe I'm just stupid.
I didn't.
But I don't think there's anything, like, no glaringly obvious hint that Wenji was gonna betray Xingyun.
I like that she's still, like, the love triangle was still between, like, two princes and her.
Yeah.
What options? Where are those options for me?
Please. Yes, I took the suspense away because she survived everything. Yeah, and all the wounds were like instantly healed by Li Wei. Like when she got shot or whatever, and then it was just like, oh, here.
Like, don't worry, I'll heal that up for you.
Yeah, there really was no like real danger, it felt like. Until like Li Wei was under that spell, I was like, ooh, is she gonna kill him? Like, add some spice. Let's go.
Yeah.
Especially because like there was a second book. And I was like in part 3 by the time I figured out there's a second book. So I was like, okay, this can't wrap up. There has to be some form of cliffhanger. So I was stressing, but I don't know. That is something that kind of annoyed me that there was no cliffhanger, because what is the second book going to be about? Like, you're not given any details as to why.
Like, I don't know, because her father's dead, so I'm like, obviously she's not gonna like go look for him. Her mother's free. What could possibly happen?
Her relationship with Li Wei is pretty good. Like, are they gonna get married? Is that gonna be the next plot line? And the Celestial Emperor and Empress are gonna be like, no,
I'd read it.
Problem.
I'm not even gonna read the like synopsis for the second book. I'm just gonna see what happens.
I always thought that Wenji was shady because of their first meeting. What was their first meeting?
Don't they meet at the there's some sort of party.
Archery.
Oh, the
archery, and he was clapping.
He's the only one that was or he clapped first, I think.
I think he clapped first.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair. That wouldn't really have enough impact for it to be suspicious for me, per se. Like,
I guess you kind of could have maybe put something together with like Maddie mentioned the silver-eyed archer part where like she's doing some other mission and this random person shows up and like shoots something to save her.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you could have put together that was
that random mission wasn't a random mission. That was when they were saving
the
Li Wei's.
Yeah. I was trying to
side chick.
Yes. I mean, basically.
See, everything that like would have been suspicious with like the tension between Wenji and Li Wei, I just chalked it up to the love triangle. I was like, oh, Wenji is just a jealous little bitch because he's not as cute as Li Wei. And so like a lot of that I just kind of brushed under the rug.
Somebody said like the part where they were thinking Wenji was suspicious was when he was mean to Xingyin before he knew that she was the first archer. And I remember when I was reading that, I was like, that's kind of fucked up. That he like only started to be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
When he knew, but I still wouldn't have put it together.
I think that was such like a small scene that it like kind of went over my head. Like I forgot about it later on because when it did happen, I was like, oh, he only really cares about rank because he's like, oh, you are lesser. Until he figured out that it was the first archer. So I think I just like forgot about that small detail, or else I feel like I would have been more wary of Wenji for longer. Yeah. But it was just like a small, short paragraph of him being mean and then being like, oh, my bad. And I just forgot.
Like, sorry, I didn't realize you weren't like a lowly servant.
Oh, you're not a peasant. My apologies.
Oh, some people thought that the silver-eyed archer was Xingyin's father.
That would have been a cool plot point.
Yeah. It's also
I was kind of mad that her father was dead because I thought that was going to be something. It was really built up to possibly be something.
I know. I was like, you really could have done something with that plot line.
Absolutely. And then the dragon was just like, your father's dead. Here's his grave. Some sort of like I don't know, them being reunited, like Xingyin's mom and her father. Like, why was it? I don't like. I get why it was a prominent point because it really like that's where the tension became with her identity and stuff.
Yeah,
but I feel like there was more there.
I agree. So I knew there were some 2-star ratings in the chat from those people. Why didn't you like the book? Like, I know we've already talked about like some reasons why we didn't like it, but also, obviously overall we still did. But like, did anybody just hate this book?
I think it kind of depends on like what type of reader you are when it comes to this book, because it was very, I think, character focused and like plot focused. And if you're like a super like anal about wanting like things to flow and like the time jumps, I think that was like the biggest complaint in the Discord that I saw was like the time jumps being annoying and then some of the characters being annoying.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of like here for the plot, here for the vibes type of person. So like the time jumps were like, darn, but then I'm just filling in the gaps myself.
Yeah.
But I think it just depends on like what type of reader you are. Watch surprise her dad is not dead and faked his death or something.
I could see
that. I could get behind.
Yeah.
I could get behind that.
That would make sense, I feel.
Yes. I think Xingyin really was a Mary Sue character where it was like suddenly like the training the non-existent training montage. It's suddenly the best in the kingdom, whatever.
The montage that we didn't get to see.
The montage we all closed our eyes for. Yeah. I guess that's true. And especially if you've read a lot of fantasy books, I know there's a lot of like Mary Sue fantasy books. And so that does make sense that it didn't really stand out that much.
I feel like it's just the world and like the mythology that was woven into it that really set it apart from other books for me.
They had dragons.
The dragons.
Really not hard to please. If you stick a dragon in the book, I'm gonna be happy.
Like yeah, the dragons. There's 4 of them. Let's go. I was happy that she returned their essence to them.
Me too. I was like just when she was delivering the pearls to the emperor, I was just like, don't tell him that the essence is gone. Just be like, here's your pearls.
I think he could sense it.
Probably.
There is the thing.
But she wouldn't have known. Have some pearls. Yeah, I really did like that. But I feel like that whole situation should have been more higher stakes. I feel like it was too easy.
I don't think
it was made out to be like she was close to dying. Like half of her life force was going to destroy or like to remove the essence.
Yeah, and when she got back on the moon, it was like, oh, it's really restorative up here.
Yeah, I was like, where?
Oh, I also love that the dragons were good and not evil. I like seeing that because I feel like for the most part, dragons are like, I'm gonna kill you, but these were like, we just want peace.
Yeah, they had explanation for like their actions and like their good intent.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree that the whole book there weren't really high stakes in this book, and I don't really know if I mind that personally, but I can see how some people would not like that.
If you want a high stakes book, just read the Poppy War trilogy, okay? That will destroy you.
There you go.
There are options out there, don't you worry. Yeah, I don't know. I think with fantasy books and with books involving war, and like fight scenes and stuff, like there has to be some sort of something. Did they kill anyone in this book? Like anyone important? Like Wenji didn't even die. That's probably a plot point in the second book, is killing Wenji.
Or maybe he has a redemption arc in the second book.
Or maybe he's a redemption arc.
I don't think anybody did die.
Yeah. You gotta kill at least one character in a fantasy book. I feel like that's like rite of passage.
That's a box to check. Did somebody die? No. Make it more interesting.
Especially with an adult fantasy. Why I could forgive, but for an adult fantasy, no one dying?
Like this just like there's no part in my mind that's like, yeah, that could like maybe be adult fantasy.
Yeah. I still don't believe you, but okay.
No, like it is. That's why the damn hardback's so expensive. If this was a YA fantasy, it'd be like $18, but no, it's like $30. Maybe somebody did die.
Flowers. Yeah, that was the one who put the curse on Leeway when they were like fighting.
Oh.
Where there was like no stakes.
Forgot about her.
I thought we were gonna have longer scenes too with the dragons, not just like a let me call my brethren, and then they have a little conclave meeting that we don't get to see, and then they're like, have our essence because you wield the bow.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a little dragon meeting. Was this book first person?
On the little Do what?
Was this book first person? No. So yeah, we should have gotten a dragon meeting.
Absolutely. Yeah, the dragons felt not necessarily out of place because, like, obviously the mythology and like the world, it made sense, but it just felt very sudden for this like other random side quest.
I liked
them,
like,
such a big deal,
but I wish like they would have been like, I don't know, talked about or something like earlier in the book, like as a myth, obviously, but like, oh my god, it's real.
Yeah, and was there any explanation of why she was able to wield the jade dragon bow?
She was chosen. But I think that could also have something to do with her father. I feel like that might have been the explanation.
Maybe we'll get more answers in the second book. Maybe. I don't know what they're going to do in the second book. Like, we need to kill Wenji.
We need Leeway and Xingyin to get together.
Right. There's got to be more shit with the dragon, surely, to figure out why she's chosen with the bow situation.
Hopefully, more dragons.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the author's going to have to, like, create some other form of, like, big plot point, big villain, big something.
Yeah.
At this point, I've decided everything comes down to her father. No, us too, Jasmine.
Yeah.
I really hope her father did fake his death. I think that would be some sort of like legend starts coming around being like, there's this archer, and then Xingyin and her mother maybe go out. It'd be cool to see more of them in action. Yeah. But her mom always has to return to the moon every night, so I don't know if they would have time for a little adventure.
I hope we get something like that, though.
I would have actually accepted Wenji's offer to help the demon realm against the Celestials because the Celestial Emperor were so bad they didn't put some dragons. Right? Both sides were sketchy.
Yeah.
Like, the Celestials, like, that's what I want to happen. I want them dead. I want Leeway at the mast.
On the throne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leeway and Xingyin. And then there's tension there because she's the daughter of someone who murdered whatever that situation was.
Details,
I don't remember the exact
Firebirds.
Firebirds. I did really like the legends of like the Firebirds and like this is what happened, and I don't know. I liked how those were kind of woven into the story.
Yeah.
I really like the mythology. I love mythology like this. It's okay.
Wenji should be stuck on the moon. Give him something to do. Keep him occupied.
Something other than being the guard of the demon realm, which, like, the demon realm wasn't even, like, talked about that much. I feel like for it to suddenly be, like, the main plot point of, like, this is the big bad villain, but the demon realm's, like, kind of hush-hush. Like, nothing's happened, right? Yeah.
Like, don't look at us. Don't talk about us. And they're like, okay.
Okay. I don't know. I was just there for the vibes.
I love the vibes of this book.
It's so good. And the narrator, I can't get over it. It's so good. Do we have any other thoughts?
Thoughts, opinions, feelings.
Thoughts, opinions.
Grievances to air.
Put more stickers on my water bottle.
Oh, cute. Little Pokemon.
Yeah. Pokemon. So is her mom considered to be a part of the demon realm? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But that could be a plot twist.
It could be. Her mom could be evil.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like she deserves to get vengeance upon the Celestial Empress and Emperor because they were the ones who, like, imprisoned her.
Yeah.
For sort of justifiable actions. Like, I feel like her husband would have wanted her to have the potion to, like, save the child if they were gonna die. So it's just a power play on the Emperor and Empress's part.
Hate them. I'm a Celestial Empire anti. Well.
All right, we need to name your dragon.
Oh, right. I like Silas, but does anybody have any other names?
Any other name suggestion for insert name here? She did make a comment at the beginning that she was from the demon realm and outcasted. I don't remember that.
I have to look into that.
Like, I believe you.
Oh, yeah.
But I just don't remember that. I mean, I'll figure it out in the second book if they make it a deal. Because if not, then, like, why was it mentioned?
That's a good point.
I need more people dying in the second book. Me too, Jasmine. Me too.
Just somebody. Mainly Wenji.
I do want Wenji to die. I want him to die and then him be under a curse the whole time. And, like, his last words are like, I was good.
Yeah. Just like that.
Her mom was mortal. I'm so confused. Is Silas a name from the Vampire Diaries? Is that why you like it so much?
No, I was only thinking about Silas from Sorcery of Thorns, which I think is why Darcy originally suggested it, but there is a Silas in Vampire Diaries, which further cements Silas as the right choice.
Okay, I like Silas. I think it's cute.
Perfect.
So we have Silas, and we have Norman.
Cute.
Cute!
So, do we have a book we're reading next month?
Do we have a book we're reading next month?
I don't know.
Okay.
Does anybody have any suggestions?
I have a suggestion.
Well, you have a suggestion.
But it depends on how people are feeling. Because I'm, like, okay with people not wanting to read this book, but The Name of the Wind.
I would read The Name of the Wind.
It's kind of a hefty book, but we are starting to announce books earlier. So tomorrow we will officially announce the book versus the first of the month. That way it gives people, like, an extra week to get a hold of the book and start reading it. It's not as long as it looks. It was 600 pages, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it was, like, too bad.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to pull a Brandon Sanderson and be like, The Way of Kings, 1,000 pages.
Ew. I can't imagine reading that for a book club.
I feel like, especially, like, The Name of the Wind would have we could have a lot of discussion about a lot of theories. Let me pull up the summary for the people that do not know what it is about.
You've read it, should you know?
I will say the magic system is like slightly confusing to understand, and it's like I don't want to say it's slow to get into. Like the friend that recommended it to me said it was slow to get into, but I loved it right away. Anyway, so and it's also told in a very interesting way because you have like present day Kvothe, who's like the main character, telling his backstory and his adventures. So I thought that was a creative way to do it. Anyways, it's a really short book description. Wow. Told in Kvothe's own voice, this is the tale of the magically gifted young man who grows to be the most notorious wizard his world has ever seen. The intimate narrative of his childhood in a troupe of traveling players, his years spent as a near feral orphan in a crime-ridden city, his daring, brazen yet successful bid to enter a legendary school of magic, and his life as a fugitive after the murder of a king form a gripping coming-of-age story unrivaled in recent literature. A high-action story written with a poet's hand, The Name of the Wind is a masterpiece that will transport readers into the body and mind of a wizard. That's such a vague description, but also like that one paragraph is very enticing in which like it hits kind of all the plot points.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
It's very like Patrick Rothfuss's writing is stunning. It is so good. So I'm really interested to see if people will enjoy this book. And so if y'all are down. Plus it's January, so a lot of people that are in college are on winter break, so it gives y'all a little bit more time to read kind of like a heavier book.
I'm down.
Are we feeling it? Feeling it? I talk about it a lot. I have a tattoo for it. I have read it. It will be a reread for me, but I just want to discuss this with people so bad. And I was thinking like eventually I'd want The Name of the Wind as a book club book, but it was either going to be January or like the summer.
Also, how dare you get us started on a series that's
Now listen. I don't know what you're
There's only 2 books out, and the last book
I've done
11 years ago.
Listen, can we see the tat? I don't know if I can pull my sleeve up enough. It's on my shoulder. Wait.
You like pull it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. It's a lute. With leaves. It's kind of hard to see. That was a funky ass angle. It's on my Instagram. I think I have an Instagram post of a much better angle where I'm not like bunching up a really long sweater.
No, that's great.
Neon frills. It's been 11 years actually, but that's besides the point. There's quite a few people that say they're in. Someone recommended Dance of Thieves, which has been on my TBR since Haley Pham read it.
I've heard good things, I think. I heard it's fun, which I'm always down for a fun book.
For sure. I just think January is a good time for like a longer book. And we wanted to get more into high fantasy, and I think it's high fantasy enough where the people that want to dive into the universe and really like, what am I trying to say? Like really get into it and like pick at everything and try to understand everything. I think it's good for those readers. And it's good for readers who like me are just like the vibes. Like the magic, him at the magic school and academy is just, it's so good. I love a good academy situation.
I love a good academy.
And I just think there could be like a lot of really good discourse around this book. The pages, there's 660 pages. 662.
Oh, should we all get the tat once we read it?
Please.
Imagine just like all, I don't know, like 700 of us with like the same tattoo.
Oh my goodness. Was this the one that Brandon Sanderson was going to finish?
Oh,
Darcy, there was like...
Right?
Do what?
Oh wait, isn't he finishing the Wheel of Time?
He was finishing Wheel of Time. Who finished Game of Thrones?
But George R. R. Martin isn't dead, is he?
I don't know. There was like jokes around Brandon Sanderson being the one to finish Patrick Rothfuss's trilogy, but Patrick Rothfuss is still alive, and he still is writing the book. Like, I don't know. The whole situation's interesting. I have theories about why he hasn't released the 3rd book. But
are they spoilery theories?
No, I just think he wanted his books are so good, and they're like really popular and really widely known. But like, would they stand out and be as popular if it hasn't if there wasn't like this 11-year gap between the second and third, because it makes it talked about this whole time.
He's building hype.
It's still being talked about to this point. And so I feel like regardless, I think his situation is going to be kind of infamous, especially for people who like high fantasy.
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of like cemented himself in history, and I think that was his goal. I don't know how long he's going to wait to publish it, but I feel like we're closer than we were 11 years ago.
Well, getting closer every day.
Perhaps, or perhaps never. I don't know. I just think we're coming off a really good book, Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I feel like we had a really good discourse around the book, and then we had a lot of varying opinions, and I would love to find another book that has that sort of.
I feel like this may have been one of the best chats we've had about a book.
It really has been. I feel like we really redeemed ourselves after Farwilder Magic.
It really does.
It really is a big advertising stunt. Yeah. I do believe that. But I don't know. There's part of me that I don't know. I'm really hyped around. What is happening?
Yeah.
I'm really like excited for the third book, but also like I'm stressed that it's been hyped for so long and building up for so long for it to be a disappointment. But I finished the second book after 9 months. So
would you rate it?
5 stars. Not even a question. Are we good with Name in the Wind? Y'all are the ones who showed up and stayed the whole time. So
I'm excited.
I saw a lot of yeses. I only saw like 1 no because it's a long book, which is valid.
Yeah.
But we're announcing it early. So hopefully it will give y'all time to actually read it. Because we've been, I don't know. I didn't realize that we were like announcing it on the 1st and then only giving y'all like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. But you know, we're learning to run the book club as we go. So we will start announcing it.
As close to a full month to read it as possible is ideal for everybody.
Okay, perfect. So the January book club, I succeeded. I couldn't get her to do Babel, but I got the Name of the Wind. So bigger win.
We can't talk about it again.
But is Babel even a fantasy book, or is it just dark academia?
I know it's got fantasy elements in it, but I've heard that they're not very strong.
Okay.
Interesting. So take that as
I see yeses.
Lots
and y'all are the ones who showed up, so
yes. Perfect.
I'm so excited. I would recommend picking it up as soon as you can because it is like a heftier book. But
I'll buy it today.
I literally hope y'all enjoy it so much, and I feel like for the people who don't enjoy it, we're gonna have a good discussion. Coming from someone who literally has a tattoo for it, so that's how much I'm
excited. I love the enthusiasm.
I really hope people love it. I'm really excited for the discussion. Like, I hope people can definitely show up for it. Is it going to be... Oh, it's going to be on your channel. That's ironic.
Yes. My channel on the 28th of January.
28th of January?
I think.
The 28th of January.
Last Saturday.
Ooh, I'm going to be so tired. I have a concert the day before.
Ooh, who are you seeing?
My favorite K-pop group, One Us.
Nice.
And I bought my friend VIP tickets so we get to meet them.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It was kind of like a selfish Christmas gift because like I also wanted to meet them, but she was very excited too, so it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It'll be a reread for me, but I haven't read it in 6 years. So there's so much. Like even I read it in March of last year and I already like there's so many details that I've forgotten and I'm just okay. Well,
I suppose that's it.
This was the most like I'm very proud of us. This was the best live show I think thus far. My favorite book of the Wyverns and Words.
My second favorite.
Such good discussion.
Yeah.
We've named Silas. We now have a Norman and a Silas. I feel like it's more balanced, you know? Yeah. I didn't want Norman getting all the attention. You know, his ego would have been too big.
Naturally.
Do I have any other book-themed tattoos? Darcy, I have nothing but book-themed tattoos. This is Range's Apprentice, my sword tattoo. And then I have, I lied. This is actually for the K-pop group One. It's also a matching best friend tattoo. And then I have an hourglass, which is a book tattoo as well. It has a sword in the bottom. And dragons, because dragons are cool. But I'll say the words / dragons are for y'all. This was for this book club.
Every time I see that tattoo, I'm reminded of Triss's tattoo from Divergent.
Yeah, with a bird.
Yeah.
But cooler.
Oh, but better, for sure. Birds, dragons, there's no competition.
Yeah. And then my next tattoo is also going to be a Ranger's Apprentice tattoo. But, it's fine.
Yeah.
My next 2 tattoos might be.
Nice.
It's fine. I thought I heard a knock on my door. Just my neighbors. It's fine.
What's new?
I heard, the maintenance buggy, drive by, and then I heard a knock, and I was like, whoa, no, I can't. I'm in the middle of something.
Not on I was going to say not on a Saturday, but it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Not on a random Wednesday. Hopefully, we don't have to do another Wednesday stream. I don't
foresee that
weird.
happening.
I think let's see. Good.
Oh, somebody asked if I would get a tattoo. I would get a tattoo, but I'm just too indecisive currently. But at some point, I'd like one.
I feel like you'd get a Strange the Dreamer tattoo. Something related to that.
I'd get something book related, but I don't know if I'd get Strange the Dreamer.
Would you have a specific book related thing or just a general book? I like books.
General book related thing. I don't know. I have to think about it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm convinced someone's at my door. It could just be my neighbors because they are also being very loud.
Maybe they're at your door.
But it's a solid But it's happened 3 times, and typically after 3 times, they'll just open my door and come in.
I feel if you're questioning it, it's probably not your door.
True.
All right. I suppose we should go.
I suppose we should.
Unless we all want to figure out the door.
Do we have any last minute anything? Phrases, complaints, recommendations?
There were some recommendations earlier in the chat about books with dragons in them.
Ooh, I'll have to scroll back and look at those. Okay.
I guess that's it.
Goodbye
for coming.
Thank you. See you next month for the reading sprints and also for the Name of the Wind live show. I'm so excited.
Yes.
We should do 2. We should do 2.